Welcome to episode 14. I'd like to thank everyone who clicks on this video. Really, thank you very, very much, so much. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you. Sorry if the last episode seemed jumbled and confusing. I didn't plan that one out in any way whatsoever. So I guess that's why it seemed kind of random. But that's how all the episodes are. That's what this podcast is about. There's no planning. It's very random. I do try to plan sometimes. I plan most of the time, okay? I plan most of the time. There's supposed to be structure to this podcast. But here I am rambling once more. I'm going off script here. Here's another long episode where you will learn more details about my life that you weren't asking for. Yes, you, a complete stranger to me. I don't know what you look like or sound like or what you do for a living, but I'm here recording this because I want you specifically to know what's been going on in my mind lately. I don't want to bore you with drama. That's not my genre. Drama's not my cup of tea. I'm here to tell stories and poetry and interview the crazy people that my goons find on the street. But the past few episodes have gotten kind of personal. Sorry about that. But if you've been a long-time listener, you'd know this podcast never had any direction to begin with. So I'm just gonna say whatever I want. Anyway, hello my beautiful creatures. That is the title of an amazing movie I watched last month, created by Joel Haver. He's a YouTuber, Joel Haver, and his gang of amazing people. I have so much to say about this movie. Please watch it whenever you can, after listening to this, of course. I can't stop thinking about this epic stop-motion film, partly because I feel like I watched it many, many years ago with my brother. I need to get him to see this movie. I vividly remember watching it with him when I was like 12 or 15 years old. I don't know. But they just made this movie very recently. I have a frequent deja vu problem. I've been having deja vu every day for as long as I can remember. At this point, it feels like it's been happening my whole life. But the whole chronic deja vu thing, I'm pretty sure only started about 7 years ago. And it's still happening. Basically, I just feel like I'm living a life that I've lived an infinite amount of times, over and over. And there's a lot I could say about that, but that's a topic I'd rather discuss with a guest present. Hey man, what's going on? Everybody, please welcome today's guest, Johnny Six Fingers. Thank you. Thank you for joining us here today, Mr. Six Fingers. Yes, you were talking about how life repeats itself, in a sense. Exactly. So, what's your opinion on that? Man, it's true, man. Like, every day I'm like, damn, I did this before. And it's because I did, man. Do you have any specific stories to share? Man, like this one time I was walking down this same road I walk down every day. And just yesterday, man, I had this feeling like I'd been there before, man. But it was like significant, you know? Yeah, that's not really... Man, this one time I was walking through a big open field one night when this moth flew past my shoulder. And I just felt, at that moment, I felt like, man, anything is possible, man. Okay. Johnny Six Fingers has left the building. Turns out he wasn't actually Johnny Six Fingers, just some guy that my team of goons found on the sidewalk as usual. Let's start over, I guess. So, every time my cat meows, I feel like I hear actual English words. And that gets into my dreams. So often I have dreams where she's actually talking to me, and it's the weirdest thing ever. A few weeks ago, I dreamed she was losing teeth, and she said, "Don't worry, I still have more teeth." And she's like all kid-like, she's kind of confused and unaware, but she's like over 70 years old in human years. Let me tell you about this one time. I can't tell you if this was a dream or a hallucination or if it actually happened. This one night, I woke up and got out of bed, started walking to the bathroom, when I suddenly felt a strong, ghostly, and malevolent presence that wanted to attack me. So I grabbed the nearest knife and I just started swinging it around in the air, just knowing that there was something next to me that was trying to attack me, even though I couldn't see it. And I could feel the knife cutting into something. And then all of a sudden, my cat shows up. My cat shows up in the kitchen. And she says meow. But then her voice like echoes in my mind with her saying in like a 70-year-old woman's voice. She's just saying, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I see her and I'm like, "Oh, Theodore." And then I put my knife down. I said, "Everything's gonna be alright." And then she walked away. And then the ghostly presence came back. And I was about to fight with it again. And that's when I think that's when I remember the dream ending. But it was pretty interesting. So here's the big question on everybody's mind. Am I part of a cult? About half of this whole episode was cut because I got too personal. I just killed a horsefly that entered my house, and it had maggots inside of it. What a nightmare. The thought that if I didn't see it and didn't recognize it as a horsefly, and I just ignored it all night, it could have laid those maggots overnight somewhere that I wouldn't have noticed. And I don't know how long it takes for those things to develop into horseflies. I'm not going to look it up right now. But I've been bitten way too many times. They're almost as bad as mosquitoes. The bite is worse than a mosquito bite. But I've definitely seen mosquitoes and gotten bitten by mosquitoes way more often than horseflies. The fact of the matter is, Horseflies live on blood and like dead meat and stuff. Could you imagine being attacked by a swarm of horseflies? If you've ever been bitten by a horsefly, you can imagine how bad that would be. Summer sucks. I don't like it when it's 90 degrees outside. It can get up to 100 around here, a little over 100. That's the highest I've seen it. Probably like around like 106 here in upstate New York. It's too sweaty, you know? It won't be long before winter starts to feel like, I don't know what it's gonna be like here in New York. It seems like every winter is warmer than the last. At the same time, winter is longer each year, which is interesting. But that's global warming for you. That's part of it. We have longer winters, warmer winters, and then eventually the next ice age happens. It doesn't really make sense, but it's coming. You'll see. So let's talk about gun control. I'm not into guns, but my stepdad is. And every now and then I see a post that he shares on Facebook. The posts are basically like, they're always like, you can't take our guns away, basically, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I just feel like right now in 2024, I don't think that many people are trying to get rid of guns completely. In fact, I feel like we're getting closer and closer to a society where everybody has a gun on them at all times. It would be a crazy dystopian society where pretty much everything is legal except for violence. If anybody attacks anybody, they're going to have several guns drawn on them by several citizens. And if the worst thing you can do in that society is attack another person, that sounds kind of okay to me. There might be less murder, technically. There might be less, murder charges, technically, and maybe, I don't know. There might just be less murder in a society where everyone has guns. Think about that, why don't you? For future reference, I do not stand by that statement if things actually turn out that way. Who knows how bad or good it could be, but I did say it would be a dystopia, not a utopia. Anyway, 60 years old, six-pack, jump in the station wagon and have another heart attack. Sideways and up. What is up with that? The last thing I was dreaming about before I woke up this morning was I was a lizard, and I had a friend who was also a lizard, and we were in this action-packed survival scenario trying to escape a flood. So we were looking for an escape, and the water was rising, and we jumped on top of a piece of driftwood, and then we saw a metal safe floating on the water. You know, a safe, a metal box with a lock on it. It was floating, and it had a sign on it that said escape. But there was another word also. We got closer, and my friend said, "Look, it says escape on it." But I got a better look and saw that it said Ursat's escape. I said, "No, this isn't the escape we're looking for. This is an Ursat's escape." That's when I woke up, and I thought to myself, Ursat's. I know that word, but I can't remember what it means exactly. So I looked it up, and it means like a substitute or a replacement or false, basically. So I'm taking it as like it was a false exit. I don't know what that dream was about, but so I tried interviewing some random people on video chat sites for this episode, and it went exactly the way as I expected. I'm going to play the audio. I tried talking to 3 people, but that was my first time trying that. And I'm not very good at talking anyway. We're gonna try it again. There might be a full episode where I actually have a really awesome conversation with a stranger on a video chat site, because over the past 10 years of my life, I have had many fascinating and wonderful encounters and made many friends. Had very long conversations with random people on video chat sites. So I feel like that's a good idea. I feel like we can get something out of it. We can definitely get something out of it if we keep trying. But here's what I got so far. It's not very good.
What's up?
Hey man, you want to be an anonymous guest on my podcast?
No, thank you, sir. But you have a good one today, so you have good.
How's it going, man? All right.
My fault. I thought you were my boy. Excuse me. It just had me some type of way.
You want to be an anonymous guest on my podcast?
Huh?
You want to be an anonymous guest on my podcast? Completely anonymous.
You put it on YouTube?
Yeah, but it's
How many subscribers you got on YouTube?
not a lot. 57.
57. That's good enough.
I'm not trying to get too many. I'm not trying to get famous or anything. I don't want people seeing my stuff. I just do it for fun.
So what's your podcast about?
Literally a podcast about nothing. There's no planning involved. It's just talking. It's storytelling and poetry and music mostly. I knew it. I knew this wouldn't work. So that guy skipped me. Then there was this guy. Guest on my podcast?
Yes.
All right. How's it going? What's your name? Or what do you want to be called?
Jeremy.
You want to be called Jeremy? You like that name?
Yes, that's my favorite name.
Oh, okay. All right. Well.
My podcast, Mom.
Yeah. Your mom's with you?
No, she ran away.
Oh. And then I skipped that guy. And then I tried talking to 2 people at once.
Love you.
How's it going?
Favorite friend? I love you. I'm scared. Don't do it, Kevin.
Okay.
My fault.
Oh, you guys are confusing. And that was pretty much it for that. I was exhausted after that. I actually went through quite a few people. Maybe over 20 or 30. I don't know. Like I said, we'll try that again in the future, possibly. And that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you listened all the way through, that's awesome. I probably won't do another episode this long, and at least not for a while. My laptop, the charging port is broken, so that's a new problem that I have. Again, thank you for listening. Yeah, no poetry segment for this one. Sometimes there's a poetry segment, and sometimes the whole episode itself just kind of sounds like a weird, surreal, creative writing project. Also, yeah, it's over 30 minutes long already, so this is the end, my friend. Have a good day or night.